Hello, Scotty here with you. Today we're going to be going over poi. Poi is a weight on a string or a line of tension. So you can have a sock poi, get a long sock, put a juggling ball in it, tennis ball, something soft, and you'll have a poi. Tie a string to a ball in some way, and you'll have a poi, or you can purchase a poi. We're going to be going through our basics here again, trying to get up to our 3-beat weave. So we have a common pattern in flow, which is our infinity sign. And so we're going to be covering that infinity sign again and adding a bit more complexity on it with just an extra turn. Then we'll dial back down and play with 1 and 2 and explore a couple other moves. Alright, so let's start that move with just 1 or none. We're going to do just that figure 8 motion. We have an overhand and an underhand in poi. We also have it in juggling and all the other props as well. In juggling video, our in throw here was an underhand throw versus an overhand cascade. So we could be cycling this way or cycling this way. Wax on or wax off. Same for the 2-beat at weave. We're going to be doing it with an overhand or an underhand. Okay? But let's just start with a spin. So we have spinning the poi. Okay? And before that, we also have tick-tocks. Okay? So this is just moving the poi around, getting to move it around your body, finding the different planes. Each one of these planes is somewhere that we can start spinning the poi. We can get it tick-tocking in that area and then accelerate it. Tick-tock to accelerate. Tick-tock to accelerate. And then it's the transition between these two spots, here and here, that we're going to be practicing. Okay, so we can learn both of these spots first as just a single windmill. And then we can transition to them. We also have planes. So our planes here are our side planes, things that are on our side body versus our front body. Our front body and our back body are the same plane, just front and back versus left and right. And then we also have a transverse plane. This goes for all movement structures. These are our 3 planes of existence, X, Y, and Z in our 3 dimensions, where we're slicing the body. We're moving around the body, moving above the body, moving under the body. Okay, so there's our 1, and we can practice that with our other hand as well, and that is our other 1. Okay, so practicing our 1 beats, our 1 ball, are the refinement zones of all of our flow, and help engage and refine and repeat the action that is going to eventually become merged with several other actions. So let's start a weave now, a transition. I've been doing a couple, so you may have already done one, but we're going to do it intentionally now. I'm going to use my arm as a marker, so I'm going to put my arm out, and I'm going to be on one side, and then I'm going to swap to the other. And there's these windows, kind of like a fan, where you can open and not be hit by the string, and we're going to be moving that around. So right when it opens up and is up in the air, we can drop it to the other side. And again, when it's up, we drop it back. If I'm in an underhand going up, same thing, when I hit the top, I can come over. And also when I'm low, I can come over. Same with the top. I'm high, or I can be low and drop right underneath. Okay, so these are just distinctions, just things that we're trying to do, top and over, top and under. Okay, and then once we have that pretty consistently, we can go into our 2-beat. It's called a 2-beat because we're going 1, 2. Every time it hits the bottom, a cycle has occurred, and that's your beat. You have a frequency, so that's how fast are you spinning it. The faster you go, the more stable it might feel, but it's also harder to control. So slowing it down, really feeling those beats, maybe putting some internal body sway into it so you can feel it rise and drop. And we do that on both sides. So I can do a little hand swap in the front. I can also hold this with both hands. It's the same action. Okay, so that's our 2 beat. Again, underhand, we're going over and back. You can also come under the arm and back. The arm doesn't need to be there. It's just really about the side and that we're going there for 1 and coming back. We're not staying. If I stay for 2, that's 3 beats. 1, 2, 3, back, 1, 2, 3, back, 1, 2, 3. That's what we're going to go into now. So we're going to go back into our overhand, and we're going to have our arm out, and I'm going to go 1, 2, back 3, 1, 2, back 3. But on that second one, instead of staying, or on that third one, instead of staying 1, 2, I'm going to go under 3 and back 1. 1, I can stay here as long as I want, go under 2, and then back. And then as I start refining it and honing it, I can hit every beat. 1, 2, 3, over 1, under 2, back 3, over 1, back, under 2, back 3. Underhand, you can go under to over and back. Over to under is a little awkward. You have to do a little arm push. So we're going to go under, and then as it comes back, you see how it kind of wants to naturally circle on top versus the overhand, it naturally wants to circle under. So under, under, over, back, under, over, back. Okay, now we're going to do that with the other hand. Over, under, back, over, back, over, over, stay. Over, over, under, under, stay. Over, under, back. And again, practice all those 2 beats on both sides. So both hands are ready to operate and do both activities. So now we have an overhand 3 beat on both sides and an underhand 3 beat on both sides. We can also, we're going to start going into 2-ball now, or 2-poi, and we're going to go back down to a 1 beat. Okay, so these are both on my front plane and they're separated. They can be next to each other if they're stacked, and we can work on stacking them closer in butterflies, but that's a later move. So just rotating them together at the same time, or split time. And see how they're both coming down and in the center? One can be coming down and in the center, and the other can be going the other way. In the same time, or in split time. Okay, so these are just some distinctions to start getting the arms working together. We can do that on our side plane too. We can have 1 on our front, 1 on our slide, 1 on our side, 1 on our transverse. Just getting all of these different planes operating and working together. We can be just tick-tocking too. Trying to do one while tick-tocking another. Okay, and then we're going to start crossing here. So I'm going to do a double cross, and one's going to come high. Okay, so I'm crossing high and then crossing back. It's the same time 2 beat. Overhand. Same time 2. Underhand. Okay, and my left hand is on top right now versus my left hand being on bottom. Now we're going to go into our split time. So I'm in split time now instead of same time. I'm on my side planes. Now I'm going to take my lead arm. I'm right dominant, so I'm going to take my right, and I'm going to go under and take my left over and come right back. So left is going into the armpit, or right is going into the armpit, left is going over, and they start chasing each other. One goes, and we come right back, and then we can stay and cycle in there. So we have 1, 2. I'm counting my left arm, 1, 2, 1, 2. Counting my right arm, switched it, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so now we can go into a 3-beat. You notice the left arm's on top. I can stay an extra beat. When this one comes back, my left is going to stay and go under my armpit, while my right goes over. And then I'm going to come right back and out. So 2-beat, my left is on top, it stays, and then it comes right back out. Now I can do it on the other side with my right on top. And I can have it stay, cycle under. So it goes over, under, back. So my left is going first, it's going under, right goes over, under, and back. And now we're going to stay and cycle. Over, under, back, over, under, back. This is a 3-beat. If you count either poi, it's doing a 3-beat rotation. I'll count my right first. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Now I'll count my left. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And those are our 3 beats. We can also do that underhand. We're going to lead over first. So over, under, and then you stay. Over, under, stay. Starting with the left hand, over, under. Starting with the right hand, over, under. And staying. And it's the same beat count here. We just had inverse planes. Something to think about here is when this is rotating, for you it should be rotating clockwise. For me it's rotating counterclockwise. And if I keep the rotation going, and I switch sides, I look this way, now it's rotating clockwise for me and clockwise for you. So it's less about the direction and more about how it's what is its perspective in the local space. On the local space, that's my east direction where the sun rises. So it's going to the east, rising, and then dropping to the west. Okay, where now it's rising to the north and dropping to the south. And so when I'm doing my spinning, I like to face a direction, whether it be a building or a cardinal direction. And then that's what I'm using as my reference of my spin. So that way, if I'm looking this way, it's spinning here, but it's still always spinning to the north, up, and to the dropping to the north and rising to the south. And as I walk around it, it continues to do that. Okay, I'll do it in this direction so you can see it's rising to the west, or dropping to the west and rising to the north, east. And as I walk around it, it continues to do that. This is going to lead to being able to spin. So if I'm doing an overhand here, 2-beat, when it drops down, I can cross with it into an underhand in the opposite direction without the spin losing any momentum, and cross back. So either when it's open, I can cross, or when my arm is coming back, I can spin the other way. Okay. Practice that with all those moves we just did before, and then eventually you'll have your 3-beat, and when it opens, you can spin with it. When it opens, you can spin with it. And now you can maintain that spin while changing your perspective within the space. Also wrapping it around your body. So your torso is spinning, but my legs are staying stationary. These are all the same move, overhand or underhand 2-beat or 3-beat, just done on the different planes and different rotations. We can also do the 2 beats on our side body planes. We can add a third by doing an upper tuck. Okay, so just 2 down low, we tuck high. We can stay high and do 4, and we can drop down. And I can drop into these different quadrants. We can call it 1, 2, 3, and 4. I can go 1, 4, 2, 1, 3, 4, back. Some of the quadrants are easier to drop into, and you'll find that as you explore them, and to come back from. Being down here and coming back and up is a little strange. Being up and dropping down and coming forward and coming up is a lot more intuitive to the arm mechanics. And then we can start mixing those together and start doing these 2 beats on our front plane at these different levels. Again, all the same move here. And then 2 beat on our transverse plane looks like this. It's coming over and then under. We can have it go over our head as well. So we guide one hand out, and then we trace that arm. So if we hold it, we trace the arm, and then we start following it and let it do a circle, trace, let it do a circle. We can add a third by staying and then unwrapping high, and add a fourth by staying and unwrapping low and rewrapping. Okay, and just to dial that down, we have an over the arm. My arm is over and the ball. We have an arm over, ball under. Over, over. Under, under. Arm under, ball over. And then cycles between those. Now as we practice those cycles, we can apply those cycles into our arm wrappings to allow ourselves to have extra beats where we're not getting tangled. Same applies for the 3 beat. We can stay for an extra and do an extra tuck around and bring it into a 4 beat or a 5 beat, depending on if you're doing it on both sides or not. If you do it on one side, it's a 4. If you do it on both sides, it's a 5. And then, like the little buzzsaw is one that's right in front of you. Make sure your poi length is at proper length, or it's not going to smack you in the face. But being on our outer bodies to coming to our inner body. And then transitioning back out. And then one last little demo for our poi is an isolation, where we're trying to take the center of the rope and keep it in the center and trace our arm on the outside as if we're doing something like this. Not a skill I have hyper honed, so look into isolations elsewhere if you want to see it done cleaner. But that's the general concept, is tracing the arm over and flipping it. So you're giving the illusion that the rope is maintaining tension, and then you can start it with this double hand rotation. So your arm can start getting a sense of the motion it's going to need to do to accomplish the action. And that's our poi journey. We can start bringing juggling back into it as well. I love incorporating juggling into all of my props. So tosses, so an underhand toss, or a inverse toss where you're going underhand and then you flip the handle up. A no beat toss where it doesn't rotate. Our drops that come with juggling so well. And then we can start doing like little hand swaps where we're doing our two, we toss up, and go for opposite catches. Oh, and I love the drops too. So stalls in any direction. You have a tangent line when you're in a circle, and you can exit at any point and arch out or pull back into that circle, or arch out or pull back. So then consecutive drops, consecutive rises, and then stalls just allow you to switch your poi direction. Last one, let's do our space-time here. So if we are in the same space at the same time, our ropes will touch. If the balls are in the same space at the same time, they'll collide, leading to tangles. Tangles are great too, where our rope and our poi get collided and we tie knots. We are looking at the knot and being aware of how enmeshments and entanglements occur, and then we're trying to flip and untangle our ropes with ease. This makes it so when we do get tangled, we have some means of knowing how to come back and make it look stylish while you're in there. So our butterfly is one of those early entanglements, and what we're doing is taking one hand higher than the other. When one hand's higher, and when at the same time, they're always in different spaces in their circle. And then we can stack them right on top of each other and have them be in different spaces. We can open it and have it drop, and I can switch which arm is on top. Whichever arm is on top is also slightly in front. When I switch it, I push the other arm on front. And you want to just learn it on both sides. Open, learn how to close it, put the hands together so they can just move your arms up and down, and then you can learn how to push it and weave it consecutively through each other. Again, we have our underhands as well. And then this is a great spot where we can start going into our one hands, where it's right there. So I get my fancy pinky out and I start dropping that rope into that pinky, and then I hold on and enjoy the ride. If you switch your planes, you start rotating it, you start moving your hand around where you're not holding the alignment where the other one's in front and the pinky's behind, you'll start getting your ropes to cross. So just coming in and then learning how to come out. And it can go in the pinky or any finger really. It's more just about hand alignment once it's in there. Ooh, bad hand alignment. Okay, and then from there we can hold both and start moving them and trying to lead with one hand with your thumb and following with your pinky. And if you follow with the opposite and it switches, the ropes will get tangled. Okay, a lot of what I know here is chaos, some redundancy on 2 beats and 3 beats, weaves and tangles that we've done that I just play with and I try to keep awareness of and adjust to, but not a lot named there for myself. Another one I know is holding one still, getting one to tick-tock while holding another still, or as still as we can get it, and then getting the tick-tocking one into a spin, and then trying to carry the other one into a spin. Oh. Don't know that one very well. But those are the next progressions of getting your 2 balls in one hand. Once you have 2 balls in one hand, you can start holding another in the other hand and going into your 3. But that's our initial poi progression. Hope you enjoy the process. And get clocky. Get your TikToks going, your windmills, your helicopters, your beats, your weaves, your tangles, and everything in between. And remember, juggling gives you that hand-eye coordination to start launching things where you want them and being okay with dropping them when you drop them. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.